First of all, I just want to tell everyone how happy we are to be here, and I couldn't be prouder to be part of this experience and this weekend for you guys. I know it's probably a lot, and this room is very hot, so try to cool down a little bit.
Go for it.
Yeah, good. So for those of you that we haven't met today, I'm Jen Hearn, and I'm with Creative Family Connections. We are a law firm and a surrogacy agency located in Chevy Chase, Maryland, 18 years, which I know for a lot of people, there's some comfort when you have stability, when you know a company's been around for a long time. We've had a great reputation, and we've been consistently one of the top 3 agencies in the United States for like the last 10 years through Men Having Babies. So if you haven't gone onto the Men Having Babies website and looked at the agency surveys, check it out. You can see some testimonials from some of our parents. And we've been proudly serving the LGBT community the entire time. It's our honor, really, to help parents that deserve, or prospective individuals and couples to become parents. It's our passion. We love doing it. We love being part of this with you guys. Currently, we have about 60% of our clients are from the LGBT community, whether it's singles or it's couples. Can I get a show of hands who in here are single parents, or will be single parents? Right on. And the rest is all couples. That's great. So congratulations on taking this first big step in this seemingly overwhelming process. It's going to start getting a lot easier, and once you start doing the first big steps, it's just going to roll, and you're going to start feeling a lot more comfortable, and then by the time you realize it, you're going to have a baby coming, and then you're going to have all that to deal with and all the excitement of having a little one to plan and prepare for. So why our parents love us? So we're turnkey solutions. We're a law firm and surrogacy agency. So when you come to us, we'll help you find a gestational carrier. We'll match you with incredibly high-touch case management services, and we stay with you through delivery, and we help wrap things up, post-delivery, and then we help you with all the legal that's related. So we're talking about parentage, contracts between your surrogate, also with your egg donor. So we're a law firm, and we filed the first ever pre-birth parentage order in Maryland, and we also were one of the law firms that were instrumental in changing the law in DC. It used to be criminal to undergo anything with gestational surrogacy, and we were kind of fed up with that, so we worked and finally got that law changed 2 years ago. So that's an option for all you guys as well. Our parents also love that we're a law firm because you get all the you get all the privileges of a law firm. So you get attorney-client privilege on everything. You get protections. Agencies in the US by themselves are not regulated. Law firms are. We're regulated by the State Bar of Maryland. That means your money is regulated. It's in a very expensive process, at least one extra security and safety you guys can have. And ethically, because we're a law firm, everything we know, you guys know. So if there's something going on in the process, we'll tell you. We don't want to keep things from you. We want you guys to be informed. Something our parents love about us too is our experience. So because we've been around for 18 years, and I know I've talked to some of you already, is because this is so overwhelming, a lot of parents like to start with an agency because then we can help guide you towards the other steps. Where do you even start? You need a clinic, you need an agency, you need a surrogate, you need an egg donor, and there could be all kinds of other things whose genetics you're going to use. And basically what we can do is grab your hand and guide you through the process and start simplifying things for you. And we can give you options, but we don't want to burden you with overwhelming numbers. And places like this, amazing, the community support for what you guys do. This is just so cool that these Men Having Babies exist, that it basically helps you, and you have a community where you can lean on each other, people in different stages of the process. And really our goal is to help find and support you through the surrogacy journey, but to provide you as a positive, stress-free, and ethical process as much as we can for you. So.
Wonderful. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Jen. My name is Lauren, and I'm one of the case managers on our lovely team. But who I really want you to hear from is one of our amazing surrogates. So this is Morgan. We're just so honored. Well, number one, I was so honored to be able to share in her journey with her parents and to be of support. But she's the the true hero, and I'm so glad that she's here to share a little bit of her story. She's a mother of two, a student at Northern Illinois Nursing School, and carried twins just a few months ago, delivered
Can you
January.
imagine?
We're international parents, so she's amazing, and here to share a little bit about her experience.
So, like she said, my name's Morgan. I didn't have a lot prepared for you guys because I know you're probably going to have a lot of questions, and we want to give you as much time as possible to have those questions so we can answer them. But the main thing that I wanted to tell you guys about is kind of, first of all, my motivation to be a surrogate. It's the whole surrogacy journey from having this first thought in my head was, you know, I had a very easy pregnancies myself, and I have been in the lives of so many others who either it's not an option or they can't have kids, whatever the case is. And I just thought, God, I wish everyone could have babies as easy as I could. And then I go, oh my God, I have to help other people, you know? And so I just kind of started looking online, not really realizing what a rabbit hole I had gone down, and I sat for hours and hours and hours and just read stories, these beautiful stories of people kind of achieving the family that they had dreamed of, you know. And so I got in touch with Creative Family Connections, and from the first time that I had contacted them, they were amazing. I mean, they were so responsive, and they always had an answer to anything, and if they didn't have an answer right then and there, they came back, you know, and they let me know. One of the best parts of Creative Family Connections, I think, was their ability to match. I know that there's so many different personalities in the world, and I think a huge concern on both ends of it, the intended parent or parents and the surrogate, is just, you know, like, oh, you know, this is somebody I've never met before, and this is a huge, I mean, it's honestly the first parenting decision you guys make, or you would make, and is like, this person is going to be babysitting my child for the first time, basically, you know. And on the other side of it, I'm like, I'm thinking, you know, all personalities don't combine. So Creative Family Connections did an amazing job of matching me, I think, with my parents, and they were the most wonderful people. We have such a great relationship now and even after the birth, and stay in touch and communicate, and they hold such a special place in my heart, and their whole family and everything like that. So I did just want to let you know how amazing Creative Family Connections is, but more importantly, surrogates, we're here because of love, because I couldn't think of a more beautiful thing to do with myself and with my time and with my life than to help others achieve their family. And so when you're searching for a surrogate, you know, be optimistic and be just know that women, we are here because we love it and because we want to be here, and because I want to see the world as the most beautiful place it can be. And you know, they say, be the change you want to see, and so that's why we're here. So that's who we are.
Morgan's amazing. In our vetting process, we only accept 2% of the candidates that apply for gestational carers in our program, and Morgan exemplifies the perfect example of who our gestational carers are. So, like she said, this is your experience, so we want to open this up to you and see what questions you have for us. Yeah.
So you're a legal firm, but you have a separate entity as a
We're combined, so we're a law firm and an agency. So everything that applies to the law firm in terms of ethics, also umbrella applies to everything in the agency. So we represent, you would be our client, and every gestational carer knows that when they apply to us, they sign a waiver, and it's an understanding that you're our clients, that they're going to have their own separate, independent representation for contracts, and in parentage if they're in a state where that's required, and so it's sort of that understanding.
So you'll be representing both? I mean,
we represent parents.
Just
represent the parents, but we support you guys during the journey.
But she needs to have an attorney too. So
Just at contracts. Yeah. So, for example, she's from Illinois, so she would have an Illinois attorney review the contract and represent all of her interests. So whatever legal questions she has and just practical questions and concerns she had, that's ironed out before there's even a pregnancy. No medications are started, no pregnancy is started, contract's done, and then they create a schedule and you start your journey. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Where do your egg donations typically come from? Do you have your own bank, or?
We don't. We actually used to have egg donor services, and we thought we would just kind of pull back and focus on surrogacy. And we felt like for our parents, it was a better option as well because it's more affordable for you if you work typically through your clinic. So once you find a clinic, and sometimes you pick a clinic based on egg donor information, then that's an area that we can help guide you, and that's based on what your hopes are. You know, not just what kind of egg donor you have, but do you want to have future contact with her? Do you want to meet her? You know, there's different clinics that offer you those solutions, and if you don't have a clinic where you find an egg donor that you necessarily like, you're not limited. There are agencies out there too. And some agencies are maybe more reputable than others, and we can help you guide there too. So we can have no financial interest in who we refer. We're referring to just the best in the community that take care of our clients, that have had good experiences, and that at the end of the day have a pregnancy. Please.
I guess I was surprised to hear that so much of a component of doing this is about legality. Is that because the legal lens is how you determine everything that you're going to provide for the surrogate mother? Do you see what I'm saying?
So you have to have a foundation.
As a child of the 80s, you remember those stories about the surrogate that keeps the baby and all that. So that's what I kind of thought legality came into.
So
but you're making it sound like this is how you negotiate. I'm going to pay for your this and your
Yeah,
that.
it's a combination.
Is that what it is?
So two things. So back in the day, there was a case, and I know we don't have a lot of time, but there was a baby M case that laid precedent for basically what happened in the legal community. It was a traditional surrogacy. A traditional surrogacy means the surrogate is genetically related to the eggs. You're not doing that. You're working with someone that will be genetically unrelated, period, to your child, which is a completely different ball game. So she will have no argument in court because she genetically is not related to this child in any way. But in terms of the contract, you have to iron out all the details. I mean, you have to look at her state law and where the baby's going to be born, and you want to make sure you're not offending anything within the state, but then you also want to iron out obligations and duties and, you know, expectations and compensation and all the other stipends so that there's not any kind of ambiguity. This is your foundational document. This is going to help guide you throughout the journey, and it really sort of streamlines and simplifies the process. So don't think of it just as a legal arrangement. That's sort of the safety where it protects you and the gestational carrier, and you're just setting you're establishing for parentage. So contract clearly defines intentions, that you're the parent and that she's not, and it lays out all the other details, and then you use that to build onto it by supporting your surrogate through the process. And when you go to file for parentage, you're going to typically file your gestational carrier agreement, which outlines intentions again, that you're the parents and all the other obligations, and then that's how you ascertain your parentage. So it makes it a very clean, legally defined process. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But also a huge component is like a pre-thing where you're like what you're going to pay for kind of thing?
Yeah.
Or is that kind of thing?
You'll know beforehand because the way we work is we have guidelines based on states, and some state laws are a little better, so it might affect compensation, and those are all things you'll have in advance of being matched. So you're not surprised with expenses. You're gonna, basically something we do is we give you a snapshot of what the journey would look like from start to finish. And that's based on not just our fees, but our other financial techie parents that have gone through and itemized all their expenses. Any other questions? Yeah.
So we talked about in the plenary session, a surrogate mother who is smoking pot, she's going to be excluded. But let's say during the pregnancy she does decide to start smoking or starts to drink alcohol. What's the recourse that as an intended parent, you cannot just say, well, I don't want to have this baby anymore. Right?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And so something that's written into all your contracts. So even before contracts, we have a very rigorous pre-screen process. I told you we take 2% of the candidates that we work with. And even when you're working with a surrogate that's from, say, Colorado, where marijuana is legal, we're still looking for candidates that don't have a history of drugs and alcohol. And if they do, they don't meet our initial vetting process. We're also looking at judgment. When we're doing reference checks with these candidates, and we're asking her, what kind of person is she? Does she follow through on things? We talk to her. We actually send a note to the doctor and we say, did she follow up for all her doctor's appointments? So there's a big component of this is what kind of person is this in judgment-wise? And then actually in the contract, we put in language, although we've never, ever, ever had a parent need to use it, is she, and Morgan knows this too, in the contract there's a provision that says that she would be subject to random drug testing at any time. And so of course if you're pregnant, if you have a surrogate and she's pregnant, she violates that, there's breach of contract. I mean, she has liability for things like that. You're not gonna step away from your child, but I can tell you we've never had a situation like that. But there's recourse. There is contractual recourse for that.
Do you feel like based off of you guys also being through a lawyer's firm, that increases your charges because it's really based heavily around the legality aspect of it, or?
Well, it's all combined. It's also in terms of who, we're just wrapping up, but it's also the quality of the individuals that we find. I mean, Morgan is a perfect example where we offer high-touch services, and because we're so involved during the process, that's all kind of figured into it. So you can work with someone that's just going to match you and then step away, and then you have to figure out the whole thing on your own,
Right.
and we're going to be the one holding your hand.